in East Lansing. Caesars Sportsbook has the Spartans at a 22.5-point favorite with the over-under of 54.5. And just for those that care, Michigan State was pretty good against the spread last year. 9-3-1 against the spread. Obviously 11-2 overall record. They own a 12-game winning streak over Western Michigan. The last time that they lost to Western Michigan was 1919, so it's been a while. And Western Michigan is 0-15 against top 25 teams since the turn of the century. Defensively, our Spartans led the Big Ten with 38 sacks. And also, when it came to trying to carry and run the ball on the Spartans, not very good. 3.4 yards per carry, only 9 rushing touchdowns allowed. And Western Michigan, they lost their quarterback, Caleb Elby, and their starting receiver, Sky Moore. So you got to replace a whole bunch of yards from both those guys against a defense that is just waiting to pin their ears back and come get you.
Yeah, and I mean, they're starting a redshirt freshman in this game, which I think right there kind of makes it a non-starter for me. And Michigan State, I think similar to Michigan, they want to come out and prove something. There's obviously a lot of talk about losing Kenneth Walker, bring in Jarek Broussard, Jalen Berger, and bring back Jaden Reed. They also got Trey Mosley. And they got a tight end there excited about from Illinois. Daniel Barker is, I think, his name. So I think Michigan State's going to come out and want to put the beat down on Western. Payton Thorne might want to show out in front of his father a little bit. And I think just having the home night game opener, you don't want that to be boring. You know what I mean? They want to come out and give the fans something to be excited about, put a little pizzazz on the win. I think they will, and I think it will end up. I think they'll end up covering the 22.5. It was at 21.5, and so it's going up, ever so slightly. But I think they'll end up covering, and I can see, a 45-17 game or something. Maybe in 45-7 if the defense comes.
Yeah. So Western Michigan. True. Western Michigan, they're only returning 2 starters from their offensive line from last year. So you got a whole new line coming in, basically, and a Michigan defense that apparently, according to Michigan State defense, according to Tuck, is focusing on putting pressure on the quarterback, which will take pressure off of their secondary, which obviously needed a lot of work. They were the worst in all of football last year. So between those two, it doesn't look good for Western Michigan. So are you, with all that information, are you picking the Spartans to cover that 22.5-point spread?
Yeah. I think that the defensive front seven, I mean, we've talked about it seems like 4 shows in a row now. I think the defensive front seven is going to be pretty good. And cautiously optimistic about the secondary. You have Amir Speed. You have Ronald Williams, who played well at the end of last year. He started off rough. And then you have Xavier Henderson coming back. So that's 3 of your kind of 4 back guys at least. And the linebackers couldn't cover at all last year. And this year, that's probably still a bit of an issue. But you bring in guys like Winman and Brule who should help you, at least in that category. So I'm a little bit more optimistic about the pass defense than I think some are, but I'm really confident that the front seven will do what they need to do against Western Michigan to make this a true blowout.
All right. So yes, like you mentioned, Payton Thorne hoping to have a big game as he's going not against his dad Jeff, who's obviously the offensive coordinator for Western Michigan, so he's not going to be facing off against him, but he wants the ball out in front of his dad, obviously. So over under 275 yards.
I'll go under. 275 is a hard number to hit in college.
Okay. Over under 2.5 touchdowns for Payton.
I'll go over 2 touchdowns. I think Reed might have 3 himself. Honestly.
Well, so that's where you get the passing versus the rushing. So on the rushing side of the ball, over under 170 yards rushing for Michigan State.
I'll go under 170.
Okay, and same question for touchdowns, 2.5. Over under.
I'll go over.
We sharing the wealth, or is one of these running backs the guy that's going to be putting it in the end zone each time? between Broussard and
I
Berger.
think they'll share the wealth. I wouldn't even be surprised if like Elijah Collins got a rushing touchdown in there, Jaden Reed jet sweep or something like that, Payton Thorne running it in. So yeah, I don't think that all the running backs will get one, but I think just between the options that they have, there will be 3 rushing touchdowns.
All right, I think Payton's going to get over 275 yards. I don't know about the touchdowns. I think the Spartans over 175 for rushing. So I'm gonna go over for both of those as well, and I think over for 2.5 rushing touchdowns. I think 2 passing touchdowns for Payton Thorne in this one. I'm gonna say under the 2.5 for the passing touchdowns for him. The Spartans should cover. They should. But if they win 31-10, that's not a cover.
Well, it's a little bit disappointing.
It's a win. It's a comfortable win.
Honestly.
It's. I mean, you want 45 points at least for the Spartan offense,
man,
and
unless
under 17 for the defense allowed.
Nothing at half, and they just like whatever in the second half, and they're like, let's just run. Then I guess whatever, but like you can't be out here up 17-7 going into the fourth quarter and then pouring on 2 touchdowns or something. Like that would be disappointing.
I've done it before.
That's what I'm saying. Speaking from experience.
You're right. All right, fine. I'll drink the green Kool-Aid with you and have all the faith in Payton to really he had a good year last year, and he's gonna step it up even more this year. So I'll pick the Spartans to cover the 22.5 as well.
Hey, Ryan Griffin here. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Griffin and Bass. Be sure to give us your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to click the bell to receive the latest notifications from DSN and subscribe for breaking news, community blogs, polls, contests, and other content.